Hello, gentle viewers. This is Indian, welcoming you back to Out of the Park Baseball 22 and the Pittsburgh Pirates. Last episode we won 86 and 76, which I believe, if I check my history, is the highest win total we've ever gotten with the Pirates. Still didn't make the playoffs, but we were quite close. And today's very big decision, is how to move Hayes and get the most return. His contract, although it's high, is going to look better than it actually is because of the player opt-out. Which means we might have a better chance of trading him for something good. So that's item number one. But there's a couple other things that I wanted to do based on some suggestions from some of you wonderful folks. Number one, I am currently not spending money in international scouting. I'm just not. And because I'm not, because I have a scout that doesn't do the best job of finding tools, this money is essentially wasted. So I'm going to reduce this severely. I'm going to cut this by 10%, and I'm going to pour that more into minor league scouting. Because if I'm not developing these players... Actually, I'm going to reduce it by another 10% so I can also bump up major league scouting. There we go. And I think this is the right ratio for this team. We're going to spend most of our time scouting the amateurs so we get good draft deals. And we're going to spend less time with international scouting because I'm probably never going to sign an international free agent because A, $5 million is a lot to spend for a team that rarely has a lot of extra cash. And B, I just don't think we're ever going to get a return on this investment with this particular scout. We'll still have decent money put into international scouting, which is still going to help us because it also affects the quality of the free players you find. And by free, of course, I mean, we constantly get these emails, right? I'm sure I'll find one right here. So this will get us better players out of this. And most of these are going to be worthless. But all it takes is a few improvements, and you might find someone that's actually quite a bit better. So we're going to do that first of all. Second, somebody said, yeah, we do have Joey Burdett. That's kind of like, oh, I see. Someone had pointed him out, and I thought I'd put him on the roster. He definitely deserves to be higher than he is now. So I'm going to set him as no AI demotion or promotion. I'm going to put him right all the way up to high A. Because right now, I know it's like, wow, 43-79, he's great. He's actually not very good. What he is right now is he's average. And we could get a lot more out of him. So we're going to let him get some reps in the higher minors. And he'll probably make the majors in the not-too-distant future. Any other changes I want to make to the team? I'm really excited about Jimenez, by the way. Finally having a center fielder that I can trust is going to be a tremendous deal for this team. All right. Priester wants an awful lot of money. Does Mr. Priester. And he's not going to get it, but I'm not going to tell him that right now. I think Eddie Yeen's future is in the bullpen. I really do. And I know we've had him as a starter for a few seasons, and he's done okay. But he wants $1 million. And I am, quite frankly, not the kind of person to deny that to him. Easy. Tucker Davidson. I know he could be a starter, but he's actually done so well as a reliever. And he's not that far away from being below replacement level. But again, he wants a pretty minor raise. So we're going to give him his arbitration amount. Boom, lock that in. Durbin Feltman. I don't think he's a closer. But if I look at his peripherals, he's still a pretty good reliever. I'd like to see more strikes, obviously, and I think that's his big issue, because his walk rate keeps ticking in the wrong direction. But this is still a very competent reliever who wants a pretty minor raise, all things considered, and I'm going to give that to him. We said about 40,000 there. Logan Brown. I know he's unhappy with his new role of being a backup catcher, but he's still incredibly cheap. And on the flip side, Andy Rodriguez, I think, has proven to be a worthwhile starter for now. Zion Rose has to at least go on the 40-man this season, or we're going to lose him. And he might get some reps in the minors. So this kind of makes Logan Brown expendable, this package. So I think we're going to go ahead and trade Logan Brown rather than pay him his due here. And we're going to go ahead and we're going to shop for any player at any position as long as they're a prospect. Robert Santana is a pretty decent defensive third baseman. There's definitely value in that. We have Drew Christo, who's probably actually a starter, but could also be a useful reliever. Either of these players is worth Logan Brown at this point. So the question just becomes which one. Let's get greedy and see if we can't get both. I don't think we can get both, but maybe we can. Always also look for players that aren't on the 40-man roster. They're the ones that are going to be most likely to be traded. Okay, so we can get both players. Can I get you to throw in... Do you have any fairly advanced relievers that aren't on the 40-man? Could I get Kudra too? I'm in no rush. If I could get this package of players for Logan Brown, I'd chalk that up as a win. So I'm going to submit the offer. Priester. Mr. Priester here. I like Quinn Priester a lot. But, and it's a huge but. Hey, he's only 205 pounds. He has been consistent, and he also hasn't thrown many innings each year. But he's been consistent. If we look at his Major League production up to this point, he has provided about 3 wins a season. 4 last season. Last season was his best year. He's got great strikeout rate. Walks are pretty steady. Allows a handful of home runs, but not that many. He's consistently been a very good starter for us. And he wants a pretty big raise, does Mr. Priester. In fact, he wants to get paid big time. And my answer to that question is a loud, heartfelt, absolutely not. This is not the kind of contract we can take on. Let's do the math. At the end of this contract, he would be 34 years old and earning $18 million a season. If our revenue streams have improved by then, it sounds like a really good deal. If they haven't, it's a really bad deal. So here's what we're going to do instead. Because I don't know about you, but I'm getting tired of dealing with him in arbitration each season. We're going to do this. This gets us 2 specific things. One, it gives him a raise, and it's going to keep him happy, but it also gives me a way out. If I can't afford this contract anymore, I just void the option, and he goes on to greener pastures. I don't know that he'll take this, but we'll ask. And he will take it. This is exactly the kind of deal that the Pirates need to sign. I'm going to click that submit offer button, and I'm going to be happy about that. We buy out his last 2 years of arbitration, plus his first year of free agency, and we have the flexibility to get out of it if we need to. That's what I'm looking for in a contract. I don't know if I want to bring Tucker back yet. Mr. Chang, I will offer you a minor league deal. Minor league. Minor league. I'm happy to let some of these guys just become minor league free agents rather than track them all down and sign them to new minor league deals. This guy's interesting. Okay. I am not ignoring the big decision. I'm making sure I do the easy decisions first. Zion Rose. I don't know what your future is with the Pirates, but I know your future is not being Rule 5 drafted to someone else. So, boom. Easy choice. And if I need 40-man spots in the near future, I can just release the people that are already free agents. I would not object to bringing back Keller at a pretty steep discount and making him a reliever. What is he wanting again? He's still wanting to get paid like a starter. That's not happening. Alright, I'm going to advance a couple of days to see what we get out of that trade offer with Atlanta. Man, they really are thinking about it. Ben Sherrington would like to be a general manager. I'll give him a raise. He's done a good job. Lots of people sign new deals. Good, we got the one for Priester. I'm pretty happy about that. But I'm noticing that the trade, we still haven't heard back about that yet, which is actually more important to me right now. Alright, something went wrong, so we're going to try to trade Logan Brown again. Okay, so they must have changed their mind about trading one of those players. Like maybe they traded him to someone else. No, here's Santana. Let's try to get Cristo and Kudrna. So he likes this deal. I could get some of your cash. It's not really worth it. Let's try to just get Santana and Cristo. And see what kind of offer that gets us. Okay, he will accept this trade. I will pull the trigger then. Done. I kind of feel bad, like we did him a little bit dirty, but Logan Brown, we just have too many catchers in the system. And I wish him well, and I think he will do well on another team. But that is not this team. Okay. We have waited long enough. It is time to trade Mr. Hayes. What does our ideal return for Hayes look like? In a perfect world, not the one we live in, but in a perfect world, I'd like to get a starting pitcher, and I'd like to get maybe a couple of decent prospects. I'm calling up Morabel to the Major League roster because I think he's going to end up being our starting right fielder if we can't sign Soto. He's going to get called up anyway, so I definitely think that would be a smart move. What other positions could really use some improvement at? I think it's really just whoever makes us the best offer period is going to be the offer that we take. And we may not get very many offers. That's a very important thing we have to keep in mind, is we may not get any offers. So we're going to start by just asking for prospects and see what this gets us. It gets us some pretty underwhelming players. And I predicted this. In my head, I knew we weren't going to get great players because his contract is still too high. So if we're going to move Hayes, we're probably going to have to eat part of this contract. Let's also add regulars, because we can take on some salary for the right player, right? Okay, first of all, we have Abner Uribe, an outstanding reliever, and our bullpen was kind of a weakness last season. That's kind of an underwhelming return for a player of Hayes, but it's a good starting point, right? We could have Matt Manning. And Matt Manning looks like a damn fine starting pitcher. He's got really good stuff, 3 amazing pitches, good movement, and very good control that could get even better. This is somewhat offsetting the salary, though. And that's the big issue there. If our goal is to get rid of his contract, we're going to have to take a less good player. It's just how it has to be. We could pick up Noah Song for a 1-year deal. We still have him for arbitration if we wanted to keep him. So here's my question. How badly do I want to get rid of his contract? And the answer to that is pretty obvious. It's quite badly. The more money we have this year in free agency, the better chance of bringing in Juan Soto. And I know a couple of you were kind of hesitant about signing him. I'm planning on signing him to a shorter contract with some team options built into it, so we can get rid of him when we need to. And something like that would require us trading for someone like Uribe, which is certainly not a bad thing. But if we want someone to make us better next year, then we're looking at someone like a Matt Manning. But here's what I'm thinking. I can probably get a 5th starter on the free agent market for a fairly inexpensive price. Because that's what we're actually in the market for, right? We need a 5th starter. And if Uribe turns out to be a great reliever once he's doing it full time, I think he's a good opening bid for Hayes' services. And notice Sherrington's already like, this is the best deal I've ever seen. Why aren't you making it right now? Because you know what's better than 1 reliever? 2 relievers. What would I have to add to get both of these relievers? I'm wondering. If you want Lago, you can have Lago. So here's what this deal gives us. It gives us 2 relievers for a bullpen that was underperforming last season. It frees up our contract. And as much as I'd love to get a starting pitcher out of this deal, I don't think that's possible. Unless we compromise, to some degree, our payroll flexibility. I want to be in on Soto. This also has an alternate effect. By adding $17 million to Boston's payroll, it makes it less likely they're going to be in on Soto. I think we have to do this. It's an underwhelming return, and I probably could have gotten a little bit more if I traded him earlier. But we're also eating none of this contract, and that's huge. Would they throw in like a first-round pick? No. Well, I tried. Can I get like a fourth-round pick? No. 6? It's not worth it. It's not worth it to keep nickeling and diming for like a mid-round draft pick. I have plenty of my own. Boom. I'm really sorry, fans, that you're unhappy about losing Hayes, but them's the breaks. And then, where's that guy I just picked up? Because he's going right to AAA. And probably the majors, to be honest with you. But he's definitely at least going to AAA. All right. I also need to put him on the 40-man. That's fine. Okay. We are now sitting on $44 million for free agents. We can make a very serious run at Juan Soto now. Assuming that between now and then, he doesn't get signed to a contract by his team. And Soto is, I think, the last piece of the puzzle. I really do think that. There's one other thing we may want to consider doing. Maldonado still wants to get paid big time. I have to wait. I have to get what I can get out of my cheap years before I start going into bigger years on him. I could probably bring Tucker back, but let's see if we can't get Soto. And then Tucker would be a pretty fine consolation prize if we can't get him. So we're going to go ahead and sim up to free agency filings. Man, that deal for Hayes hurts. But I'm not that upset by it. It could have been a lot worse. We could have gotten nothing. And I didn't have to take any of his contract, which actually makes me pretty happy. Plus, Boston's in the AL. The first time we'd face them, we might face them a couple times in the regular season, of course. But it's not going to hurt us the way it would if, say, like, we gave him to the Mets. That would be very bad. Goudry and Hayes both won Gold Globes. That's insanely good for Goudry, given that the man only played like 95 games. And I'm frankly shocked that that's Hayes' first Gold Glove. I do want to shortlist him, though. I want to see how he does with his new team. And a near unanimous Rookie of the Year. I've got to say, John Nelson, I almost feel like we had to give Hayes to Boston to be like, we turned him into a megastar. Have Hayes. That'll take it back. I don't see Soto's name here. Is it because they don't consider him a good player, or because... No, here he is. He's there. Okay. Deep breath. Oh, but wait a minute. I like you, but not enough to pay you $22 million. Fuck it. Okay, here's what I want out of you. 5-year deal, 2 team options. This is what I want to try to get out of you in order to make this contract as palatable as possible. I don't know if it'll work, and I bet someone's going to offer him like a 10-year deal. But I think this is worth it. And it is going to cost us a draft pick. That's fine. You know what? If you want a 4-year deal with a player option, I will take this deal. and we'll see if we get him. Because so much of our budget is tied up into maybe signing him, let's start looking at really cheap bargain basement starting pitchers. Hello, Reed Detmers. You are the kind of starting pitcher that makes me happy. Because you're super cheap. And we could also pick up like a Noah Song for just a tiny bit more money. So let's see if we can get Soto. Because if we don't get Soto, then everything else changes. The entire rest of the offseason changes. We can be a lot more aggressive on many different players. I'm going to vote for Abreu. It's not going to matter, but I'm going to try. Avila's a hard pass for me. If you can't even get 1,000 major league hits, I don't see why we're having a conversation about you at all. Definitely to Miggy. Definitely to Cano. I had a friend who always called him Robinson Canoe, which I always thought was hilarious, and I can't explain why. But I will vote for Greinke. Oh, I think he's going to have a hard time making it. I don't think Helton makes it, which is a tragedy, in my opinion. But it's not the worst thing in the world. Tim Hudson. I'm just looking to make sure I don't miss any easy choices here, and there really aren't any easy ones. I'm going to vote for Ichiro again. He'll eventually get in, I think. And Max Scherzer. Definitely. And Verlander. Those are all very easy choices in my opinion. And I'll throw another vote to Andy Pettitte. I don't think it's going to matter. I don't think he's going to get in. But we're going to try. No, I don't know what kind of bidding war we might be getting into with Juan Soto. And if his price goes up, we're probably out of the running. We're not hearing from him. Which is actually a good news. Which is actually a good sign. Oh my gosh. Come on. Soto is not deciding yet. That's fascinating to me. Come on, game. Give me an answer. Boom! And all it cost me was a third-round draft pick. That was utterly worth it. This is brilliant. This might get us over the top. I'm extremely excited that happened this season. And it's the exact kind of deal that a team like us needs to sign. A nice short-term deal, which ensures that if I do have to trade him, I can trade him. And that if I don't need to trade him, he's not going to cripple our franchise any. And because our cash flow is still positive, I can still keep pouring money into development and scouting. We have no budget for extensions, though. And that's going to mean some potentially hard choices next season. But nothing that's, like, impossible, right? Because I'm hoping the way this works is that Soto's contract is more or less off the books before Maldonado's big contract kicks in. Plus, I have Maldonado through arbitration. He can't sign with another team as long as I'm willing to pay him. I did not think about that. He's only got 3 years of arbitration because we had 4 years of minor leagues. This means that my owner can't tell me no. I have to be able to re-sign him. Now, of course, the guy wants $1 billion, and that's not going to happen now. But it's fine for now. All right. I still also really hope that we get that one starter to be a back end starter for us. I'm sorry, but I brought you Juan fucking Soto. And Kyle Tucker's getting $22 million a year for 5 years. So, yeah. How about you stop complaining, fans? Like I said, they bags youth. Like, do we take Manny De La Riva, knock him in the back of the head, and chuck him in a sack, and be like, "You're a pirate now"? I sure hope not. Let us quickly make sure that we're using the 40-man roster spots we have to their utmost. I really like Trey Morgan a lot, so I'm gonna put him on the 40-man. Champlain, no. You're getting kicked off the 40-man. I have other players I want to keep more, like Toran O'Haran. Hill, absolutely not. There's not really anybody here that I feel passionate that we have to keep them. Ooh, Nate Circo. Aren't you the guy? Yeah, I drafted you a couple years ago. You actually still could be quite a good player, so I'll keep my eyes on you. I'm going to leave a 40-man spot open because we're still planning to sign that one starter, and then I'm just going to skip the Rule 5 this year. I'm not going to draft anybody. And we'll see if we lost anyone. William Sowers? I mean, I guess he's interesting, but I'm not that upset that we lost him. All things considered. Come on, Reed. Excellent. Welcome to the Pirates. All right. Huh. I'm not saying the Soto deal is without risk. But if we want to actually try to win a World Series, we needed a bat like his. And we got players that have been traditionally quite healthy. And with fairly short-term contracts. Now, if having Soto means I lose Maldonado, that would be very bad. And we can talk about that later. Uribe is not a starter, by the way. He's going right to the bullpen. He's going to stay there. You're meant to be an outstanding reliever, not an okay starter. All right, let's see who got voted into the Hall of Fame. This could be a big year with like 4 people making the Hall of Fame. Between Verlander, Scherzer, Miggy. Who is Jake Wong? Oh, yeah. I remember you. Scherzer, Miggy, Verlander, and maybe Ichiro makes it this season. But we could have 4. We could have 4 people in the Hall of Fame this year. Let's see. Nope, we only got 3. Greinke just missed the cut. We did lose Helton and Pettit. I'm not surprised. Wow, Chase Utley didn't even break 5%. Look, in real life, I'm not saying Chase Utley is a no-doubt slam dunk Hall of Famer. And I guess he did at least stay on the ballot for a few years. But he definitely has an argument to be made as one of the better second basemen to play Major League Baseball. I'm just saying. Yeah, we could see Greinke, Cano, and Ichiro make it next season. I forgot to vote for Bartolo Colon. I'm sorry, Bartolo. Yeah, not surprised on most of these. I could see David Wright sticking around on the ballot just because, New York player. But I don't think he's a Hall of Famer. I don't think it's even close, in my opinion. He was a good player for a long time, but you have to be more than good for a long time to be a Hall of Famer. Speaking of the Hall of Fame, there is a very real chance that we might not be able to manage the Hall of Famer in this particular playthrough. Our best chance is probably Maldonado, but I don't think I drafted him. I think he was already on the team. Yeah, he was. Aguilar, maybe. If he has an outstanding career, he's a possibility. But as far as someone I developed, I mean, Noah Smith is still on the team. I'm not convinced that Noah Smith is a future Hall of Famer, which he arguably should be for a first-round draft pick, but whatever. Cole Young, that's maybe putting too much pressure on him. It's hard to argue that any of the players that are on this team right this second are actually Hall of Famers, at least the ones that I developed. I mean, Juan Soto might be a Hall of Famer, but I can't take credit for that, really. Okay. So we're probably going to have Jason Morabel. Is it Jason or Yelson? That's an I. Okay, Jason. I think one of them is probably going to be the opening day right fielder. I've got a rotation I feel decent about. I feel more than decent about. We've got 3 premier starting pitchers. Along with a couple that maybe aren't so good, but are at least decent. I do not want to sign Detmer to an extension, but I definitely would think about it if circumstances allowed. How much money do I have now? Do I have to start cutting budget anywhere? I really don't. Okay. All right. Please don't cost me Maldonado. Don't make me choose. Garrett Gunnels has an extremely bright future as well. And I'm really looking forward to seeing how he handles. He's probably ready for AAA, but I'm happy to start him in AA and let him work a bit more on his positional flexibility. But we've got some players in the high minors. That could be interesting. That is for sure. Alright, let us sim up to the beginning of spring training. Now, I will set my expectations appropriately now. If we don't at least make the playoffs this season, I'd have to consider it a huge disappointment. Barring something crazy happening, like the Cardinals and Cubs each winning like 100 games, where I can't control that. Right? I can only have the best team that I have. I can't make other teams better or worse. You've increased my budget? What? What is this feeling? I have money? More money? I don't... What? I'm not sure how to feel about this. I never get more money. I'm always told, no, you have less money. It's beautiful. I could increase my scouting budget, and then maybe what I end up doing with at least some of it. But let's at least see who's still available in free agency. I'm kind of surprised that he is still here. Because he's a 27-year-old starter with really good numbers. I wouldn't mind a third baseman if I can get an inexpensive one who could serve as kind of a mentor. You only play second. Here. Don't be absurd. I'll offer you a minor league contract. Jonathan India does have a great name, but I'm not spending $13 million on that. Give me... Third base is at least 50. Our old pal Tommy Edman wouldn't be a terrible choice. He's a good hitter, and he's not a bad fielder. What does Mr. Edman want in a one-year deal? He wants $4.6 million. I think that's reasonable. And that will then either let me have Brady House, like, just ride the pine a little bit and get some more experience, or just platoon. It gives me options. And I'm not going to waste the fact that they're giving me more money. That's for sure. Where did Jimenez's hitting ability disappear to? I guess he was mostly about... Yeah, that's fine. We'll see how you go. Oh, that's a kick in the junk. I forgot about that. Damn it. I was going to go back and check and see if he still wanted to come back. Oh my gosh. That one hurts. Man, I feel so stupid right now. Oh well. This kind of bothers me. The fan interest is down below 58. Like, they're so upset. Like, they're neglecting the fact I signed Juan freaking Soto. Like, you need to take a break here, my dude. Selby doesn't really do it for me. I mean, I guess he's not a bad reliever. Hayden Perry is quite a good catcher. This is a good starting place, but I definitely need more. I definitely need more. How about Kevin Cooper? And I actually don't really want Selby at all, so let's drop Selby. Oh, interesting. Okay. They really want to get rid of Selby for some reason. Well, let's see if Edman signs, and then if he does, I'll stick him at third base. Alright, I'm going to set your position to third. And I'm going to put you on the Major League roster, which means someone else has to go. Let's shop Hudson Head. If people are that interested in him, and I can see why they might be, or actually, let's shop Rodriguez, because he's 2 years younger, and I think Head is the better player. Shit. If I can get that kind of relieving quality for a player like Rodriguez, it doesn't open up the 40-man spot, but I also don't care. Like, that is a damn fine deal, right? Like, I don't think Jouette's going to be a starter for us. I think he's, again, firmly in the bullpen, but... Let's trade Tucker Davidson. I think he has reached the point where he is no longer a value to the Pittsburgh Pirates. Man, nobody wants him. That's fair. I'm going to waive him because we're actually in the point where the bullpen's actually getting kind of crowded. No, I just tried that. I want to do this. I kind of feel bad for him. Like, we're sending him so many mixed messages, right? Like, we're like, oh, we love you so much, Tucker. We're gonna give you a new 1-year deal. Oh, but wait a minute, now we're putting you on waivers. Sorry. And you can go to AAA now. Now, I recognize that this coming season is an incredibly expensive roll of the dice. If Mr. Soto can play anywhere near his actual levels in the majors, or that he did with Washington, it's worth every penny. Oh, hello. Omar Guajardo. Putting a little bit of heat on your fastball. That's a good way to get noticed. I'm going to remove the need to force him to start at catcher because I want him to get his at-bats naturally. So I've got to decide on Blaze Jordan this year. I was hoping to kick that down the road a bit farther, but it is what it is. Is there anyone that's just not very good on the 40-man? Yeah, Mr. Cochise here, or Cochise. Players like you are a dime a dozen. Let's see if I can trade you for an interesting minor leaguer. I can't. I'm just going to take you off the 40-man then, and just in case I want to call somebody up to give them a shot in spring training. Which right now I don't, but anything's possible. I could invite Burdette, but to be honest, our bullpen is actually kind of full right now. Maybe it's not as full as I thought it was. Alright. Let's set up the rotation. Would you stop doing this game? Would you stop taking mediocre starter or relievers and turning them into starters? Or taking great relievers and making them into starters? Absolutely not. Agreed with the top 3. Nielsen is the closer. He had an amazing job doing that last time round. You can just be a middle reliever. And then let's make... I think Yeen has earned at least 1 more year as a starting pitcher. So we'll do that. Alright, Priester, you are losing your pitch count. You've had a pitch count for too damn long. I agree with Aguilar and Maldonado. Having pitch counts. Actually, I don't even agree with Maldonado having them. We've gotten 3 back-to-back seasons of 200-plus innings. I think he's proven he's durable enough to have the leash taken off. And then over here, I'm going to let my bench... I never signed a new bench coach. That was pretty dumb. A guy like David Turfo would be a really good choice. But not when there's a guy like Justin Green available. I think I actually planned on at least looking into promoting someone from the existing things like Kieran Madison here, but I forgot about it. So, oh well. It happens. Yeah, well, you're irritating my AC joint. Boom. Alright, now let's get assigning teaching roles. Who's my best base running teacher? They actually all kind of suck at it. Okay. There we go. We have better teachers now. Poor Mr. Brock here doesn't have really a role right now, but that's fine. My hitting coach hates people that are personable, as does my team trainer, but I think this is good enough for right now. And what is your current job? You are the pitching coach in high A. And I really want to keep you. Like, quite badly. What if I promote you to double A? No, you don't want to work for Altoona. But I want to give you... Fine, I'll give you an extension. Because you're a really damn good pitching coach, and I don't want to lose you. Whatever. That's unfortunate, but okay. He was one of the big pieces out of the Hayes trade, wasn't he? I don't know what Gunnels was playing shortstop. I certainly didn't tell him to do that, but whatever. Alright, let's finish all the games. And the reason I always finish all the games first is because people get hurt. It makes my job easier to decide. Alright. Where is Jouette? You're out for that. This is all fine. Alright, we currently have on our pitching staff... give me ratings, please. Here we go. We presently have 17 players. I need to find new homes for 4 of them. Cy Nielsen, you are a reliever. Stop trying to be a starter. You cheeky sod. Easy demotion for Montgomery. Don't tell me what to do, game. You know what? I'm going to do a dick move. I'm going to put him on the 60-day DL so I can have him off the 40-man. O'Haron is probably the closest to being a starter on this roster other than the guys we have now. So if I'm carrying 6 starters, O'Haron is the 6th. Williams here. And then I guess Chen. If we still need to get rid of one more player. Yeah, sorry, Chen. But we've got some real horses on this team now. Yeah. I could probably use a good 4th starter. If I can find one that's not too inexpensive, I'd like to do it. But that's probably going to be a bit of a change. So I need to get rid now of 8 position players. I got 3 first basemen. You're being demoted. Jordan. If I waive you, I don't think you make it through waivers. So I'm going to see if I can manage a way to keep you on the team. DeJesus, no. Gunnels, no. Trey Morgan, no. Look who developed some power. Yeah, Montesino, I think you've actually won the right field job. Because you're a very strong all-around hitter. That power just kind of came out of nowhere. Like, I didn't think he would ever be a very good power hitter. But I think he's done enough to earn himself the opening day job. Mortabel to the minors. Fletcher's not a terrible 4th outfielder, but I think I'm going to send him down. Brings me down to 2. All right. Edman, I think, is still my starting 3rd baseman. But I think House is going to get lots of reps, too. Maybe let House face the lefties. Goudry is my super utility. Cole Young is my shortstop. Vargas has done everything that's ever been asked of him. And I think he still has a future as a decent first baseman. If I'm going to carry this many third basemen, I've got to get rid of both Jordan and Vargas. Because we only have a 26-man opening day roster. And I'm certainly not going to go down to 12 pitchers. I think that's asking for trouble. So Jimenez in center. Mina as every day. I could demote Head, but I think he's still useful to have off the bench. Because he's a good hitter. He's a good bench option because of his offensive skills. He can't really play center that well. Yeah, I want to keep the 5 outfielders that I have. So then it's an outfielder or 2 that's going to have to go. And I really want Edman to be in the starting lineup. I think his offense has a lot to help us out. I'm not going to send down Goudry. Do I send down Smith? Like, Goudry won a Gold Glove, right? But, you know, he's never... You know what? I'm going to send down Goudry, and then I can actually decide between Vargas and Jordan on the opening day roster. And then Jordan gives me power off the bench, which Vargas doesn't. So I'm going to try to sneak Vargas through waivers and see if we can get him down. There we go. I don't like Goudry being in the minors because he's already amazing at all 3 positions. But it won't hurt to give him some offensive reps to see if there's more here, to see if there's more than making him a super utility guy. Because I'd love for him to be an everyday infielder. And I still think Smith has at least some offensive upside. So we'll see. Goudry should definitely stay close by the phone. Okay. So let us now advance to the day of opening, and then I will set up the rotation and the lineup. Boom. Ooh, Gunnels was the number 3 prospect, and Mr. Guajardo, by putting a little bit of heat on his fastball, is now the number 10. Nice. And that's, if we look at minor league system rankings, we're still the top, we're still 4th. So even after building a roster that might contend this year, we still have a ton of depth in the minors waiting for a chance to play. And that's such good news that we're that strong across the board. Let's do the rotation first. This will be easier. Maldonado is the ace. Priester's the number 2. Then Aguilar. Like, I know Aguilar's ratings are slightly better than Priester's, but Priester has also been a bit more polished, so I want him in the higher pressure situations. Detmers is the 4th starter, and then Mr. Edellin is going to come in and be the 5th starter. Cy Nielsen, you're going to be my closer because you did an amazing job of it last season. Give me all relievers, please. Mr. Bruns, you're going to be my specialist. You've also got such good stuff that I don't mind you being a regular middle reliever, too. Nadolian. Oh, O'Harahan here. You're going to be emergency starter long. Nadolian, I think I'm going to make you long middle. Because you've got a good bit of stamina on you, so I want to make sure that your arm is nice and stretched out. And then Acevedo is going to be our garden variety middle reliever, which leaves us 3 pitchers as our setup candidates. Feldman is still the best combination of stuff, movement, and control. I'm willing to make him my 8th inning guy. And then between Uribe and Solis actually has better control. So we're going to make you the 7th inning guy. And then you're going to be middle relief. Very good bullpen in my opinion. And I think this is going to be significantly better than last season's. So I'm excited about that. Can Heron actually hit? He's not the worst. So if he wants to get some pinch hitting in now and then, I can live with that. Batting rotation, batting potential. Not potential, sorry, batting ratings right now. Okay. Juan Soto is our number 3. Unless we make him our cleanup guy. No, he's a number 3. I'm not going to overthink this. Then who hits cleanup? And that is a really interesting question. It's probably Nelson. Yeah, it's going to be Nelson. All right. And this is just so I can get even more at-bats to Soto, because he's going to be doing a lot of heavy lifting this season. So let's sort by contact. I think Cole Young is going to be a fine leadoff hitter. And then I'm going to slot in Tommy Edman as my number 2 hitter. I want Endy hitting 6th and Jimenez hitting 7th. I'm going to make Montesino the 5th hitter and see how he handles that position. And then Noah Smith is going to hit 8th. So there we go. There's our starting lineup. And then I will ask you to fill in the rest. All right. Once a week for Mina. Once a week for House. I don't want Rose playing that frequently yet. I would like Rose to also get a start once a week. Okay. Let's go ahead and copy this lineup over. And then we're going to swap House and Edman, which means you need to rejuggle the lineup because House would be a terrible number 2 hitter. Maybe let Rodriguez hit 2nd and do that, and then we'll regenerate the depth chart. Every 7 days and every 7 days. It's not that I don't want Mina to have lots of playing time. It's that Montesino has power. And we do need some power in this lineup. So, this is still placing an awful lot of... We don't have a lot of proven regulars in this lineup. If Young is healthy, Young is a proven regular. And Young had an outstanding season last year, once we let him get going. I think Young is going to be a great shortstop for years to come. Edman, I hate to break it to you, my friend, you are here to be replaced. You are here to basically give me a couple hundred at-bats, see if House can contribute well, and then House is going to take your job. Like, it's not even up for debate that your job is just to stick around for a bit. Soto, I need everything from you. I need you to effectively replace the lost offense from Tucker and Hayes and also stay healthy. I know that's a lot, but I think you can do it. Nelson as cleanup is something I don't love, and in a perfect world, he'd be the 30 hitter. But Soto is so bloody good that I need to give him every at-bat we conceivably can. And he is improving his power, so that'll be good. Montesino, a lot is being asked of you this season. And I think you can do it. But if you can't, I have enough other outfielders that I don't feel married to you. Endy, I need at least one more good season out of you while Rose gets his feet wet in the majors. Because right now, Rose's contact is gobshit. It's the worst. And I don't think... Right now, he is not a formidable major leaguer. But he needs reps in the majors, and that's what he's here for. If he can improve, if he can work on his contact, if I knew he was going to hit 250 every season, I'd name him the starting catcher right now. But I don't know that yet. Jimenez, I still have very high expectations for you and playing center field every day. And then I just want you to live up to some of your potential, Smith. Because right now you look like a really bad deal. You look an incredibly bad deal. In fact, to torture myself, because that's the kind of guy I am, let's look at league history. That was 2021 drafted players. Like, I could have had Jordan Lawler, who already looks like he's a megastar. I could have had Adrian Del Castillo, who's not as good. I did get Brady House eventually, so I guess I don't need to feel too upset about that. But yeah, if we look at who has the most homers from this class... What the shit? Oh, it's confused. Yeah, I never would have thought Lawler would have developed the way that he did. And that's entirely on me. Lawler was there for the taking. He was the megastar that I needed at shortstop, not Smith. And coming out of the draft, he didn't look that impressive, but because I didn't have a very toolsy guy, I missed it. So, a mistake. I don't think there's any dispute that Lawler would have been the best choice. But there's not a ton of other players here that look that impressive. I mean, James Wood looks pretty good. But all those home runs are in the minor leagues. And that, I think, is a big difference. So, yeah, I could have had Lawler 2 picks later, but I didn't. And I'm not upset with Smith. I just need to see more of him than I have. Poor Jack Leiter. Like, he has just been victimized by being stuck on the Rangers. Maybe I should rescue him. No. We can't do that. But I really want to, but I can't. No, Avi, no. You promised. You promised you would not draft anybody that you drafted with the Orioles, so I cannot have Jack Leiter. He cannot be mine. But yeah, if Smith doesn't have a good season, I'm probably going to make Guidry, or however you pronounce it. I wonder if he is... I bet he is Ron Guidry's son. He's even from Louisiana, like Louisiana Lightning was. But here we go. Opening day, your Pittsburgh Pirates. The pitching staff, I think, is... I would put my top 3 against just about anybody. And then we've got Reed Detmers, who I really have a lot of hopes for to be a good, reliable 4th starter. And then Eddie Yean, I'm done rooting against him. As long as he can keep up the good work, I think he can fill out the back end of the rotation. And this bullpen is just light years better than last year's was, even with losing Jouet for the season. I did have a fair bit of hope for him too, but you know what? I'm not as upset about that. I am going to miss Manuel Rodriguez, and I think he's going to do quite well for Houston. But it's fine. But with that, my dear friends, my gentlest of viewers, I'm going to end this episode. Thank you very much for watching, and until next time, this has been Indian, and I bid you good day.